All right, Mary, my buddy. I'm sitting here with Mary Roncarelli of One Bowl. Mary and I go way, way back. In fact, Wasson Wellness Center was originally created with Mary and by Mary, and I came in and took over the name and created TWC Pilates with that. So really great to reconnect with you, Mary. And I brought Mary into the video here today to talk to you and Mary about One Bowl, which is a program that Mary has created to support clients in getting better and feeling better. So tell us sort of in a nutshell, or give us your elevator pitch on what One Bowl is.
I love how you danced around not using the term weight loss because Linda knows how I feel about that. But I mean, ultimately, I'll just put it out there. I think there's a big struggle for people that are wanting to lose weight. But ultimately, as Linda said, they want to feel better, right? And that comes when you tend to lose weight. And I'll share that this was actually built on a personal, experience of myself. Never had a weight problem ever until I was in my 20s. Go figure. And then I actually started gaining weight. It was uncontrollable. It was frightening. I tried everything. I tried to count calories. I tried to do all kinds of stupid diets to help me to kind of get control of this. And I couldn't get control of it. Actually, it got out of control. And I realized when it came to me finding the solution for myself, it wasn't in control. It was in learning. It was in educating. It was in finding out and understanding my relationship to food and eating. Because clearly a bag of nachos had become my best friend.
Anyway, it's food group, right?
Yeah, it is food group, right. So I got rid of that. Anyway, over sort of many, many years, I've developed a variety of different programs that help people to understand and rebuild their relationship to food and eating to one that gives them more of what it is that they want. For most people, it's typically feeling better about themselves, making self-value and self-worth kind of at the top of the priority of their list. And, oh, by the way, losing weight while you do it. You'll notice that I didn't really talk a lot about food and eating, and that's an integral part of making sure that we're living as healthfully as we can and getting that benefit of maintaining a healthy weight. But what I've really found is that the majority of people know exactly what to do in terms of how to eat, right?
Well, that's the thing. We all know what a healthy breakfast looks like or a healthy lunch or dinner, and it seems to get complicated with a lot of different diets and things. But, when I think about weight loss, it feels like a lot of work. But what you just mentioned is that even though One Bowl is a program to support your clients in losing weight, really the conversation is around what do you want? Like when I think about weight loss or being healthy, what at the bottom of that is really energy. Because I know if I have more energy, it means that I'm actually sleeping better, I'm moving my body more, I'm more creative. So when I have energy, I'm actually pretty lit up about life. And it feels less daunting than losing weight. So what's happening there? When I talk about energy versus weight loss, what's kind of going in there in the mental shift?
Well, it's a really interesting thing that you just said because statistics show that weight loss is not a long, running motivator for people to continue to practice their healthy lifestyles. It just doesn't matter after a period of time. Yet something like energy is something that people really, really value. If you have more energy, you can enjoy your life more. You can play with your grandchildren. You can go skiing. You can come home from work and take the dog out for a walk. So there's many things that you can do. And not only that, but you feel so much better, which translates into being more motivated, period. So I think when you look at motivators for people really wanting to step up to the plate again to try to lose weight, it's really got to be something that's not related to losing weight. It's got to be something that they value more, like feeling better and having more energy.
And that gets you through the tough times. Those that know me know I love taking courses. I love learning, but I also think I like that energy that comes when I'm starting something new. And so sometimes it can take time to lose weight. If you want to lose 30 pounds, I mean, let's face it, this last year and a half with COVID, people are coming in saying it's not COVID-19, it's the COVID-20 or the COVID-30. It's going to take some time depending on what your goals are. So how do you ride those waves?
Yeah. I think, again, you've hit a really good point. People get very excited when they think, okay, I mean, you talked about being on a program and people get on programs and they're really excited and we're going to change. And then 2 weeks later, we go, "No, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing before."
Mm.
So what we're really looking at, especially with what I do in One Bowl, is helping people move through the change process, which we all know isn't that easy. Sometimes we can set these Mount Kilimanjaro goals that are very exciting to us, but when we step into them, go, "Oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I have no support. I'm just going to run back to what I was doing before." So really, we're looking at the change process, which is what you do too, Linda, in helping people, working with people. It's helping people through changing what they have been doing that isn't giving them what they want, to moving through that process, the hard work in change, towards living in a way that gives them more of what they want, right?
Exactly. True. Totally true. And I find when people come in and see me that they have often tried a lot of different things and they haven't worked. So a question I have for you, and perhaps we can go back and forth on this one, is what is it that makes some clients successful and some clients they start but then they drop off? Because in a lot of programs there's always an attrition rate. You might start at 100 people and 20 people finish. So what's the difference between those 20 people that actually finish the program and that other group of people that drop off? What is that 20% doing?
Well, I love that because it's so true. And we were sort of talking a little bit about knowing when somebody comes to you, whether or not they're going to really be able to work through what they need to do to get to where it is they want to go. So really you're looking at, I think it's a lot about being so sick of where you are right now and being really ready for something different. So that plays a significant role in it. The other is, I think, change is very hard, and I don't think we change on an island by ourselves. We change when we have support. We change when we have accountability. We change when we know that there's going to be somebody there who's going to be either helping us through a tough time or pushing us through a good time, right? So I think really readiness, accountability, support, and also one of the biggest things that we were talking about before is getting some reward. I wouldn't keep doing something if I wasn't feeling better. Linda showed me my little balls and I'm doing my hand exercises and in her melt program, and automatically I started feeling better. And because I felt better, I wanted to say, Linda, tell me more. How do I get involved in this? Well, I think change is very much like that. If we don't get what it is that we're hoping for, that feels good, chances are we may not follow through.
Yeah, so and that's perfect. And so you've mentioned community is important, that we doing things with people. So, when I'm starting something new and I'm learning something, or I want to have a goal, I maybe have a goal of being able to run a certain distance. So I hire a running coach. I find that I need that person a little more frequently at the beginning, such that I set up the structure. So, this famous quote is, first you create your habits and then your habits create you. It takes a little bit of time for whatever we're bringing newly into our life to become part of who we are. And so when I'm trying to learn something new, I need to be with my coach or my group a little bit more frequently, and then I'm on a roll. It's kind of like that flywheel, when you're pushing that flywheel and it's like and then the flywheel just gets going. So definitely having a coach. Mary and I share some clients, and these clients, what I found that has made them really successful in really that lasting change, because I've gotten into this work because I just want pain to go away and be off the radar. Sometimes I'll ask clients, how are you doing today? Oh, that same old shoulder, that whole right side. I'm like, well, why is it still hanging on? Why is it still there? Let's eradicate and get this out of the way so it's no longer on the radar, part of your life. So what I found with these clients that are really like, yeah, I'm going to do this, is that they make a commitment. They see me once a week. We've set them up with you where they're getting the coaching and the structure of the program. We communicate. Usually they need me a little bit more, so I'll check in with them and ask that you get back to me. Over time, they're now emailing me and checking in with me and saying, this is what's going on. But it's having that structure and having a really good team in place, supportive friends and family if you can. If that's not available for you, that you create a healthcare team that is really supporting you. And I work with you in terms of the health coaching and the wellness coaching. I have some naturopaths that I recommend and we collaborate with. So I think that that's really key when you start. And then having that check-in and follow through, that accountability, that I'm going to hold my client to accountability and check in and they come back. So that's.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the one thing that's really important that we have to certainly talk a little bit about is your mindset. And, our thoughts create our feelings create our actions, and our actions create our behavior. So, wow, what's going on in here plays a significant role. And I really think unless we challenge and change some of those thoughts, some of them are just kind of stinking thinking, then we're really going to end up in the same hole all the time. So it's very important, whether, you come here and you learn new things. I mean, again, I can only go back to Linda taught me about my hand and about the nerve. That makes such a big difference for me. And I know with my clients, what I do is I work a lot with changing the thinking around many things that have to do with the choices that they make. And that is part of the process of change. You can't help that. So it's very, that's something that's an add-on that we were just talking about.
Yeah. Something has come to mind that I'd like to have a conversation around. And it's this thing, there's something called Setpoint.
Yeah.
Setpoint is a physiological thing, but it can also be a psychological piece. So in the physiological world of set point and weight is that your body actually has a set point that it likes to be at. In other words, it actually can be difficult to gain weight and it can be difficult to lose weight around that set point. Most people say, I'm usually plus or minus 5 pounds. And that's where your body has established the set point of where it is. So when I work with clients around change, becoming more fit or establishing a regular routine around, now I've just moved my body, like I just am a mover, is establishing a set point that shifts over time. So
you got it.
Say my set point is something that I won't tolerate being below that set point. So maybe my set point is I'm always going to have that same belt loop and I'm not going to tolerate changing that belt loop to a bigger size. And then I get used to that being the new set point, but then I can shift it to be now this is my new belt loop. And that becomes my new set point where I'm not going to tolerate it being any different. So you had asked me a question in a conversation, Mary, around what makes you have a healthy lifestyle, Linda? And it's like, well, it's my set point. It's part of who I am. I won't tolerate being any less fit than this, or I won't tolerate being any less healthy than this. And when I'm bumping up against that, I know, okay, I need to dial back. I need to start bring structure back into my life. And all of you probably have something where, you won't tolerate a different set point. Maybe it's in your cleanliness in your home. Maybe it's in the way your lawn looks. So what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, I love that.
Kind of threw this at you. But
I think again, and I'll just talk a little bit about weight loss and weight management in that frame. Set points can be tough because people kind of give up and they go, you know what? My set point is way out of my control and I'm just going to let her slide. So that takes a period of time to work through a process of achieving your own new set point. And then once you practice being at that set point, you really get a sense of how great that feels. Like Linda says, I mean, I know where my feeling good set point is. And I think that's a good way to say it. It's my feeling good set point, whether it's how my clothes are fitting or my energy level or my house when I walk in and what that feels like. So I think that takes a period of time to get to a set point and practice that long enough to say, boom, that is it. I don't want to go higher and lower. And I think we've got to be a little bit forgiving of ourselves as we walk through that path towards that place. It's really important, and again, I say, and I've shared this with Linda, that your set point is not based on what your scale says. I think that can be in time, but when you're first beginning the process of trying to shift your weight, it's loaded, right? So I think for one of my set points is how my pants fit. I put on a pair of pants that I typically do, and it's tight. I'm going, just like Linda said, I'm going to dial back. I'm going to move more. I'm going to do less of what I've been doing that has made that uncomfortable for me until I fit back into that properly and I'm good.
Yeah. So getting clear on what your current set point is in different aspects of your life and maybe where you want to make that adjustment. So, my set point in cleanliness in my home is here, and I want to raise that set point so I feel better when I walk into my home. So it's cleaner. What are the steps to make a shift in that set point? What do I need to do? I need to decide what that is. I need to enroll the people that I live with, such as that they are in agreement with that set point. Otherwise, I'll just make myself crazy because I'm doing that. I'm fighting an uphill battle. And then I need to create a plan of what does cleaning my house look like, such that my set point is where I want it to be and that it's sustainable.
I love that. I love some of the things that you said. You said, what do I want it to look like? What I want it to be? You got to have a lighthouse. If you don't have a lighthouse, you don't know where you're going. You also said, I got to have a plan. I love that. You have to have, what am I going to do differently than I was doing before that's going to make a change? You also said you have to, enlist other people that are going to help you achieve that. So those are all ways to help you to reach that set point that you're wanting to do. Yeah.
This is a little personal piece, and we'll see if you remember saying it to me. It was about 7 years ago, and I was dating a new man, and we were chatting, and Mary said, "How is it going?" And I said, "It's great." I said, but he's like super clean and super tidy. Now you think that wouldn't be a problem, but it made me a little anxious. And so you looked at me and you said, "Well, Linda, do you want to be with this man?" I said, "Well, yeah, I kind of like him. He's a great guy." And you said, do you remember what you said?
No.
You said, "You better raise your standards."
Oh, God. Oh, how smart.
And in other words, I needed to step up my game to meet that because that level of care was higher than what I was used to. And so you said, "You better raise your standards." And that has actually stuck with me in a lot of different areas of my life. It's like, hey, I want to be here and I'm living here. So what do I need to do to up my game so that I can be here? And the motivation is I really wanted to up my game because I wanted to achieve these things.
Did you?
I did. And what did it take of me to be able to do that? So
I love that.
Anyway, that's a bit of a personal tidbit from a long time ago that stuck with me. We'd be careful what you say to people because you never know
it's good stuff.
what's really going to stick.
Yeah, cool.
So can I ask you another question?
Yeah,
because this is pretty fun.
You got it.
Motivation is interesting because often people will say, well, I'm going to go to the gym, but I'm just waiting to get motivated. Or, I want to do this, but I'm just waiting to get motivated. I mean, the same thing can happen with sex and intimacy with a partner is it's like, well, I'm not really feeling like it. And so one of the things that I've learned around motivation is that you don't wait to get motivated. You actually need to get started and the motivation will come. So, who wakes up at 5 a.m. and says, yeah, it's 5 a.m. Let's go to the gym. I'm like, no, I want to have a coffee and chill out. But it's like, but once you get to the gym, you get motivated.
Yeah.
So how do we get over that little of, you don't feel motivated till you start, but you need to start to get motivated.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, when we say to people, just get motivated, feeling good motivates me. When I feel better, in general, I'm much more motivated. So what comes first, the horse or the cart? So I think you're right in saying, sometimes, as Nike said, you just have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that can be challenging because you're lying in bed and you're going, okay, today I said I was going to get up and I was going to start my exercise, and no, push the snooze button 14 times again. So what I really talk to people about is mental rehearsal. So mentally rehearsing something before it happens allows your brain to have the opportunity to actually do it before you've done it. So one way that you can practice this is if you want to get up in the morning and you want to do some exercise, or you want to have a good breakfast, whatever it might be, mentally rehearse the steps that you'll take to do that the night before you go to sleep. Have everything absolutely prepared and organized, because motivation is much easier in terms of following through if you're prepared and organized. And then say, for instance, with that same scenario, you wake up in the morning and you go, I'm really feeling really tired here. I know we talked about it last night, but So as you sit in bed or lie in bed, consider your options. Option A is I'm just going to lie in bed and feel crappy that I didn't do it when I actually eventually wake up. Hey, that's an option. Option B is to say, I'm going to get out of bed. I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go and do what I said I'm going to do. And I'm going to feel really good when I've done it. And that ends up helping you get through that tough time so that when you actually do it, you're building self-confidence and self-esteem to believe that you can actually follow through for yourself. That builds motivation.
Love it. That's awesome. Reminds me of a little webinar I was listening to with a fellow named Michael Bernhoff. And he talked about, he said, picture that there's a screen 5 feet in front of you. So it could be 5 steps or 5 feet. And on that screen, you see a reflection of yourself. You look and you see it's you. Only it's you 5 years from now. And you're wearing the same shirt. You look a little older, but you've got this beautiful smile and this beautiful energy about you. And it's that person 5 years from now who is the achiever of you, not the procrastinator of you, it's the achiever of you. And they're saying, you just come this little bit with me and you're going to have everything that you want. Way more energy, you'll have more health. This is where the achiever of you lives, is that 5 feet away or that 5 years. And then there's another screen 1 foot behind you. And it's the procrastinator you. It's the you that's really comfortable where you are right now that says, you want to go to the gym, but, it's kind of warm in here. It's a little dark. It's a little rainy. And then you look at the other screen and it's the achiever you saying, but isn't that kind of cool? I thought it was really interesting because it's that beautiful you that's really achieved that, saying, come here, you just have to come this way a little bit to get closer to me so that you can have all this wonderful playing with your grandchildren, having more health, being rid of that autoimmune, being able to swing the golf club and not have your belly in the way, or whatever it is that's trying to hold you back and keep you comfortable. But it pulls you towards. So really looking at what you're moving towards as opposed to where you're at and where you're stuck in that comfort. But it feels icky, but it's also comfortable and you know it.
Wow. I love, you just said too, it feels icky. So I'm also a big proponent of really getting connected to what makes me feel good. So if I look at that mirror in front and that makes me feel so good, but then I turn around and look at the procrastinator behind and I go, ick. Now, that doesn't mean that we won't go back to that procrastinator, because that might be the uncomfortable comfortable, I know it and it's uncomfortable, but I know it, so it's easier. This is always a little bit harder, even if it feels better, but that's where you get your support, your accountability, your coaching, your classes, your instructor. All of that stuff helps you move, gently towards what it is you want more of that actually feels better. And you know what, Linda? I think one of the biggest things with all of this is to give ourselves permission to be successful. I think that's huge. I think a lot of us put the brakes on when we go, I don't think I belong in that spot, or I don't maybe not deserved of that spot. And that sounds sort of dumb, but I know I've experienced that.
Yeah, and that brings in that fear of failure as well. Like, what if I try and don't succeed? And what if I try and don't do it? But you can do it. And it's looking at what are you stepping into and what are you moving forward to, and enjoying the process and not making it arduous. And that's what I like about the difference between, I'm seeking more energy versus I want to lose weight. One feels heavy and hard, and the other feels really up. And that's the expertise that we bring in terms of making it fun, making it light, and just, those rewards of that, of the little steps that are along the way. So just one more thing, or maybe more, I don't know, but resiliency. And, we do have to have a certain amount of resilience to change. So first, what is your definition of resiliency? When we talk about that word, what does that mean to you? And how do you see it fitting into the role of change?
I think resiliency really is a mindset of I can versus I can't. I think people that demonstrate resiliency, no matter what situation they're in, believe that no matter what happens, they have the ability to be able to cope with it. They don't feel like they're a victim in the world. They believe that they can make a difference. Versus people that feel more powerless, and they can feel powerless for a variety of reasons. So there's no judgment on that. But I think resiliency is really the belief in your ability to be able to rise to the occasion, make your bar higher, have the tools that you need, or be able to ask for the tools that you need to be able to do that. How about you? What's yours?
Yeah, so resilience, because I move bodies, and my clients develop resiliency in their bodies, is that ability to sustain maybe a challenging time and come out of it ahead. So it's like a resilient body is someone who can do their day, whatever it is that they're doing, and still have some energy left over at the end of the day to enjoy other aspects of their life. So that is a form of resiliency. Resiliency can also be, I'm driving along and someone cuts me off. And do I get all upset? No. And do I get taken out really easily and get angered? Or am I resilient enough that I can check in with myself and go, well, they must be in a bigger hurry than I am, and let them move on. So resiliency comes in mindset. It comes in physical energy, health, sustainability. To be resilient, that, if I have a resilient body, I might catch a cold, but I won't get as sick as someone who is less resilient. People who are less resilient in their health, they get sick a lot. They have a lot of pain all the time. There's always something going on because they don't have that resilience physically. And then there's the resilience emotionally. And it does take some resilience to have change in the perspective of, creating that space to actually make time for yourself, so that when you're stepping into this exciting time of creating something wonderful and different for yourself and for those around you, that you've created that space for it to happen.
Yeah, Linda, I think that as long as we're continuing to grow and to try to be as better as we can than we were the day before, then that's a great way to experience life. And it doesn't go like that. It goes like that, and then that, and then that, and then like that. So it doesn't go like that. It's not consistent. So I think resiliency has a lot to do with always putting the next foot forward with the intent that it's going to take us to even a better place of living. Yeah. You're amazing to talk to. I mean, my gosh, the energy that I share with you is, you could put it in a bottle and sell it, and it never changes. We had so many.
Okay, you guys don't want to see that, but who cares? We do love each other.
We do. Okay, thanks so much, Linda. What an amazing conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.